How many of you are any boxing fans? Yeah, really. Brynell's a boxing fan. I like that, okay? I like that. So you might know, so don't give it away if you know. How many of you can name the current heavyweight boxing champion of the world? Can you name that? I couldn't. I had to look it up. Okay? You think you really know? Give the guess. No. The heavyweight. Okay? Now think about this. It used to be that the only boxer anyone cared about was the heavyweight champ. Because he was the biggest, he was the baddest, he was the strongest, right? And everyone seems to be drawn to things that are bigger. If you've got a mall, and then later on the other side of the island they build a bigger mall, we'll drive past the small mall to go to the big mall, right? We think bigger is better. Well, his name is Vladimir Klitschko. And he's not just any champion, so we think that, oh yeah, one-year champion, what's the big deal? No, this 6 foot 6 inch Ukrainian is the 5th longest reigning heavyweight boxing champion of all time. He's big. But isn't it interesting that none of us know his name? Let me tell you about another boxer. When he started his professional career at age 16, he stood all of 4 feet 11 inches tall and weighed 98 pounds. 7 pounds under the minimum qualifying weight to box professionally. He later admitted on American television that he put weights in his pocket to make the 105-pound weight limit. Even today, after numerous world titles, he stands only 5 feet 6.5 inches. I understand how important it is to get that half in there. And the heaviest he's ever boxed is around 150 pounds. That's not big by any standards, but especially among professional athletes. He's small, but how many of you know the name Manny Pacquiao? Even saying his name, even it just kind of makes you, you gotta do some shadow boxing, right? Mike Kai in his book, Pound for Pound, compares a small church to Manny Pacquiao. As a small church, we might not be the biggest, but it doesn't excuse us from being one of the best. Using whatever talents and gifts we have to make a difference in the world. It's funny because on this part of the island, especially in this neighborhood, you know when there's a Pacquiao fight. Every grill in Waipahu is lit. Every carport in the area is transformed into a big screen television stadium. Everyone is digging up those last remnants of illegal fireworks they hid in their auntie's closet. Because they're expecting a win. And all this for an athlete that stands about the same height and stature as me. Not the biggest, just one of the best. Boxing magazines rate him as pound for pound one of the best boxers ever. Not big, just one of the best. As we continue our series, concluded this morning, about being a growing, healthy church that's making a difference in the world, we use that example. Let's look again at the first description we have of the early church, Acts chapter 2. Let's read it together, and I'm going to ask you to read the last sentence with me, so be paying attention. This is the earliest record. This is a writing that's almost 2,000 years old. And the earliest snapshot we have into the church as soon as it was established. And it describes how they acted. It says they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship, to the breaking of bread and to prayer. Everyone was filled with awe at the many wonders and signs performed by the apostles. All the believers were together and had everything in common. They sold property and possessions to give to anyone who had need. Every day they continued to meet together in the temple courts. They broke bread in their homes and ate together with glad and sincere hearts, praising God and enjoying the favor of all the people. And the result was what? Read the last sentence with me. And the Lord added to their number daily those who were being saved. Since we're concluding the series, let's review. Verse 42 tells us that they committed themselves to several things: to teaching, to fellowship, to taking communion, and to prayer. They were committed to being together as a body. Are you? Verse 43 tells us that they were filled with awe by God's power. Are you? Are you expectantly waiting for God to do transforming and powerful things in our church and in your life? Verse 44 paints this accurate picture of the powerful unity and togetherness that they enjoyed as a church. They were unified. They found their power in unity and in togetherness. Do we? And verse 45 describes a radical generosity. They were radically generous. Are we? Two more traits of the early church that they had that God used to end in that final sentence, growth of those who were being saved. Verse 46, read with me, says, every day they continued to meet together in the temple courts. They broke bread in their homes and ate together with glad and sincere hearts. What I see here is basically, as you've heard me say already, the sense of family. A sense of togetherness. We could describe a family with many of these things, about them being together, eating together, supporting one another, this radical sharing and generosity they had with one another. And we would say, of course, that's what family does. But those same traits are being used to describe the early church. And you hear churches use that metaphor a lot, right? We're like a family. Several of us are helping Howard get to some doctor's appointments here this last week, and the lady who was, I didn't earn this a bit, okay? It just kind of dropped in my lap. I think maybe some others who planted seeds and things, and so he was having some monitors removed from him, and the lady who was checking us in, and she said, oh, are you family? I said, oh, no, just a friend, family friend. But she knew that I was from his church, and Howard's always big about any opportunity he has about talk about his church. He does, and so she said, "Well, do you have a program that helps elderly that need to get to the doctor?" "I don't have a program. We're just family. It's just what we do." And she actually said, "Well, can I have directions to that church?" And I really didn't understand what she was going. Like, this is bad for a preacher. Like, why are you wanting to visit? I pray all week, Lord, send us people, and then when he does, I'm like, surprise. Be of little faith. Be of little faith. But she actually wrote down directions, wanted the name, and I said, well, here, take my phone number. And then we have expected to see her, don't we, someday? Because there was love, and it's like, no, there's no program that we have. We need to be organized to help make sure no one falls through the cracks. But we just do things because we're family. I know there are things happening all through the week that are like that. Every day they continued to meet together. So several things they did. First, they got together regularly. They say daily. Now, it's not that they went to church every day. They did gather at the temple courts every day. It was a little different than what we do on a typical Sunday. It included many of that. Going to church every day, that'd be enough to drive some of you just right out of Christianity, wouldn't it? See, I've heard some people describe heaven. Oh, heaven's going to be so great. It's going to be like one long church service. And me and those who are laughing are going, that's my reward? Now, certainly there's going to be times of continual worship, but I think it's going to be a lot better than anything that we imitate here on earth. Like family, they were living life together, not just going to church, quote, going to church, but they were living life together as a family, supporting each other in each other's lives. They did this in two ways. We have that outline for us in verse 46. It says they met together in large groups at the temple, and then they also met in their homes. They ate and broke bread together. Their break bread, earlier break bread is talking about communion like we just shared just a moment ago. Here breaking bread is eating a common meal together. There's just something good that happens over that, isn't it? They gathered as a single group, much like we do this morning, but they also gathered in small groups for more intimate times of sharing and encouragement. Things that would be hard for us to do in our larger setting. I believe that part of the future of our church is having small groups, where small groups meeting all over the island of 8 to 12 people who are really committed to one another to say, we're going to be the first line of offense and defense for one another. You need something, this is who you call. You need prayer, this is where you get it. You need physical help, financial help, this is where you come. And if we need to, then we're going to ask the church as a whole to do the same thing. This is the group that we look out for each other on Sunday morning, and if you're not here, they get a call and say, hey, are you okay? Do you need anything? Because even as the big group, we kind of think, oh, you know, I miss so-and-so, but oh, she'll probably call her. He'll probably call him. And everyone's responsibility is no one's responsibility. But if we're broken up into small family groups, we're more in each other's lives, we know what's going on, places for you to share more intimately. I think that's part of the future. As we grow bigger, we'll have to also grow smaller to make sure we stay connected. Groups that act like family. This weekend is a great example of church as family. The Himes opened up their home, invited the whole church last night, and so a good group of us gathered there and enjoyed food and fellowship, sharing, laughter. Mostly laughing with people, sometimes laughing at people, but plenty of laughter. Here in a few minutes, about 15, 20 minutes, we're going to have some time of fellowship right here as we celebrate Sam and his tenure here with this church as he's about to move to the mainland. That's what family does. The blessing basket, we had so much fun collecting and presenting this morning to show love and encouragement, not like we're family, but because we're family. And other things done all throughout the week. People making sure people get to doctor's visits. People helping with groceries up the stairs for those where it's a hard walk. Those who are without cars needing rides and people picking each other up. And it's not just that our love is focused inward. It's also focused outward. Saturday morning, a good group from our group, I don't know the number. I heard it was a good number that joined and was walking in the fundraiser for the Hawaii food bank. One of our young people, I was asking him about it, he said, yeah, we had so many people. I think we even beat the Catholics. So I don't know, really in competition with them, but I understand what he's saying. Like, we had more people than they did, you know? Friendly competition is good. So our love not only focuses on one another, but also focuses on those who are outside of our group as well. Next Sunday, we're going to be kicking off our Gift Box to the Philippines project. So again, our love that not only stays right here with us, we're not an exclusive club that just takes care of our own. We take care of our own, and that carrying that love just overflows then onto other places. Some places right in our neighborhood, some places in far-off places. There was a sense of family in church, and because of that, people were drawn to that. It's sad commentary on our society that people are hungry to belong and to be loved. And if we can provide a place with Jesus at the center of that, where people come and say, why do you go to that church? Oh, they just love me like nobody else has. I see them love on each other, and I see them love on other people, and I see them, and they all, whenever I tell them, wow, you're such a great person, I know, and nobody wants credit, they just say, oh, no, you don't understand me. See, me outside of God, without God working through me, without having Jesus living in me, without the Holy Spirit empowering me, I'm selfish, I want what I want others to give to me, but whenever God convicted me of how much He has given to me. Once I started getting a glimpse of how much love He has given up for me and how much He gives for me, it makes me want to give to others and to show them how good and loving He is. A sense of family. Finally, verse 47 describes the final trait that we'll look at. It says they were praising God and enjoying the favor of all the people. The bottom line is they didn't take credit for themselves. They were full of praise for God, not full of